Alright folks, my name is Freyn, and yes, this is once more a replay. Possibly the only game in about a week that I haven't recorded, unfortunately. I did try, I don't know what happened, but when I went to the file it was a whopping 0.5 seconds long. So, here we are once more with the rather troublesome War Thunder replay system. And we are currently on Maginot in the Japanese M41 Bulldog. Now, this morning I had an absolute horrible string of maps. Italy, Stalingrad, yes, 4 times in a row. And Italy again, Abandoned Factory, just a whole heap of maps that don't really work very well for this type of vehicle. And I finally got this Maginot game here, and it turned out absolutely fantastic. This is exactly how lights are meant to play. It's how they work the best. And so I really want to highlight this game, although there will be another video of a bit more general gameplay. So, as you can see, I am coming around the eastern flank here. I'm in a light tank, I've got spotting capabilities, not the best gun in the world, and certainly no great armor, so I want to avoid going head on. I want to use my speed, and I want to get in positions where the enemy are less likely to be looking my direction, so that's out on the flank. Now, the entire time that I'm advancing to the battlefield here, I am trying to stay below the ridge line. I'm unlikely to get shot this early on, but I don't want to be seen at all. However, I'm trying to keep in a position where I can see the enemy's approach in my binoculars, so I can use my scouting. Again, unfortunately, one of the downsides of the replay system, you don't have that little scouting icon at the bottom of the screen, so you aren't able to see when I've successfully scouted or not. If you look at the minimap, you'll occasionally see blinking little red markers to show something's been scouted up. So, we're pushing up. Having a look, nothing just yet. Just one dead enemy Bulldog. There's a super Pershing. So I've marked him up. And then I realised he's actually got his side of his turret to me. Now, since the ready rack changes, the super Pershing is now forced to have ammunition in its turret, and it is right at the side there. Perfect. Just into the side, straight through the ammo. You can't empty that anymore. So even at long range like that, I was able to one-shot a higher tier heavy tank. So scouting someone again there, just leaving their spawn and moving my way further and further up this flank. I've seen nothing coming this way yet. Doesn't mean there won't be something here. But I'm trying to get as far up as I can. Get onto the sides of enemies. There's a T-29. So again, tag him up, you can see him flashing away on the minimap. And keep progressing up. Again, just staying under that ridge, hiding my fragile little body. Try not to get shot. But there's nothing up this flank at all. So I've got wonderful side shots. Lots of scouting capabilities, and I'm in a position to start harassing their reinforcements, which are normally a bit more lightly armoured. Majority of my team's not moved up in the meantime, they're all sat back in the distance there. Pair of enemy Bulldogs heading my way, so scout the first one, line up, take the shots. That's one down. Second one hasn't noticed me. Not the best first shot, he did twist as I was aiming and I ended up scuffing it. Got his engine though, he's not going anywhere and I can quickly finish him. And once more, back to scouting. Enemy T-3485 who's slipped through. Got a nice flanking shot though. So line up again. The AP makes pretty quick work of them really. Even at range like that. And that's where I want to be staying at long range as much as I can. That's a slightly different coloured shape alongside that house. That's a tank. Slightly misestimated the range. He's firing back, but it's a long way away, so I can actually dodge out the shells fairly well. And there we go. That's Lorraine down. It's now at T-34 in the open as well. Again, fantastic side shot out on this flank. Although the AP shells do have the best damage of all the rounds available to the Bulldog, it's not really enough to deal substantial damage to a T-34 like that. Still the best you're going to get though. Still ASU-57, I'm surprised he made it far enough for me to get a shot on him really. Quick tag on the Type 65 in the distance, and back away again. We're already up to 6 kills, 2 assists. And I'm just looking for anything that might be coming this way. There's an AMX-13. That's the Lorraine from earlier. I'm out of artillery range, so no luck there. And I just ideally want to stay hidden. Not that I do, I am, of course, quite often the idiot that peeks when I shouldn't. And yeah, because I killed him, he knew I was out here, he was looking, he was prepared. I shouldn't have done that really. So back off to repair my breach. And just sit and wait for my team to capitalise on the openings I've created. As with some of my previous replay games, I do have markers turned off for this, so you can see the spotting a bit more. I do find it interesting to know what vehicles were visible to me that I didn't spot, but I've been asked to try and do it without markers. Unfortunately, I can't turn them off for only the enemies, that's not an option. Maybe one day they'll give an overhaul of the replay system, but for the moment this is what we have. Now while I'm fumbling about with this AMX-13 again, I'm just going to go over the ammo choices. This tank has 3, well 4 if you include smoke, but 3 damaging rounds available to it. The stock one is the AP round, which is the one I prefer in its current state. The second one you unlock is the APCR, which has got more penetration, but terrible post-penetration and terrible slope performance. And the third is the APDS round. The APDS has got the best pen, but its post-penetration is really subpar compared to the AP, so I like to carry majority AP rounds, and I will normally bring about 10 rounds of APDS in case I meet something higher tier, which is a bit difficult for me to get through. On a larger map like this, I have brought a few extra. I brought 15 this time, just because at longer ranges your penetration drops off and you're more likely to need those higher pen rounds, although hopefully not if I've managed to get out on the flank like I have. Missed opportunity on the AMX-13 there due to slight lack of gun depression. Had I been rotated around, I could have peeked up a bit further instead, but side on, it wasn't an option. He's been taken out by one of our aircraft though, and there's nothing else seemingly up here, so I've got a bit of free time, can make whatever manoeuvres I want. One option is to go for the spawn, try and cut off reinforcements that way, but in a light skin vehicle I don't really fancy taking on the potential waves of anti-aircraft guns, so I'm going to turn, come back around. That is an ally on the ridge in front of me there, don't worry. I'm just going to cut onto the other side of this ridge and push around more towards the B point. There is a T-34-85 on the way though, so we'll take him down. Not sure quite how he snuck through without anyone noticing him, including myself. Unfortunately down a 50 cal thanks to the AMX-13, so no sneaky tag on that plane before he crashed into the ground. But you can't always get what you want, can you? So, just cutting down out of sight of the enemy spawn. working my way into a more favourable position. I want to be able to get shots on as many tanks as I can because, you know, I'm greedy that way. I like kills. I could, of course, stay up on the east flank, but that can't see as far into their spawn. I'd still want to ideally be at a distance, but I want it to be somewhere where there's going to be kills available, so I'm just pushing through. The game's pretty much won at this stage. We've taken the majority of the map. We're moving in on C. I've got 7 kills. It's certainly the best Bulldog game I've had in a while. And at this point, it's pretty much just mopping up. Just moving into the little area between the spawns here in an attempt to satiate my greed. Potentially risky with a vehicle like this, and of course, from the enemy's perspective, a bit scummy, you know, camping them into their spawn. But it's already over. I don't really feel bad about it. It's like I've pushed my way up to the spawn right from the start. I don't think there's anything to feel bad about in situations like this. Although, of course, not necessarily the best for video purposes. But I'll be damned if I'm letting that tiger get all the kills. T92 trying to sneak out the enemy spawn over to the far side. Not my greatest aim for the first shot. And there we go. Actually missed the entirety of the crew, but fortunate enough to hit the ammunition. And a little gas truck slipping by. As I said, we're pretty much just mopping up, but as far as the game overall goes, this has been ideal for the Bulldog. It's the perfect type of map. It's big, it's got some good flanking routes, it's got plenty of vision for me, where I can get some of that scouting done, make use of the light tank functionality. I can avoid going head on with opponents. This is really ideal, and it's what I've been wanting all morning while playing this tank. I've had some reasonable games on other maps, but nothing like this. Engine shot on the ZIS-43, go for the hull break. It's not 100% reliable, but it's the best chance I've got. Might have backfired completely, of course, but fortunately it didn't. And now we're just moving around the back of this building to get a shot on this AMX-13 DCA. Surprisingly little ammunition in his turret, but the crew were all in there anyway, so no problems. But that's where it ends. My greed has finally got me killed as the SU-100 respawns behind me. And that's where we'll leave this video. It's won. I've got 11 kills and 3 assists. I'm very pleased with it. As I said, there will be another video on the Bulldog showing a bit more general gameplay. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you next time.